But let's get right into last night's action, which was an awesome Monday Night Football game. Kind of a statement win in Jacksonville for the Jaguars against a Chiefs team that had kind of figured it out recently. It felt like everything was rolling for them, and their offense continued to roll in this. But it felt like kind of a gritty, not to be cliche, but like a scrappy win for Jacksonville. It didn't always look pretty at times, but they just found a way.
I mean, I would sit here and argue that was the biggest win of Trevor Lawrence's 5-year career.
Totally agree.
Right? I mean, I would say, yeah, we know he came back and won 27-0 against the Chargers and all that, but the pressure wasn't on him at that point. It was still like, hey, this is the first playoffs he's ever been in. He's young. We're going to be going to the playoffs all the time. You know, last night was the most intense, willing type of play and response I've ever seen from Trevor Lawrence. It's almost like he knew when he fumbled the quarterback sneak, which he was wrong in the fact that you have to go up.
Right, he went
and
forward,
then
right?
over. He went over too quick. But it's almost like when he'd made that mistake on the quarterback sneak, he was like, uh-oh. I'm opening up the door for everybody to say, does Trevor Lawrence ever play good in a big moment? Is he really a franchise quarterback? Should we start worrying about Trevor Lawrence? And I have never seen him play with that type of intensity, scrappiness like you talked about, willing his team to win. And not that it was all perfect, but big plays in big moments, scrambling in big moments, right? Overcoming the Chiefs and being down 14-0. That's where I was impressed because like you said, the Chiefs on offense have figured out, I think, how they want to play a little bit. That's for sure. And that was, in a moment, in a night where we went, how good is Jacksonville? It looks like the Chiefs have figured things out. Watch out for them to win and now go to 4-1, I think is a coming out party officially for the Jacksonville Jaguars to be like, hey, they're here to stay in the AFC. Right. Trevor Lawrence is on the right track, and Liam Cohn is a phenomenal head coach. I think all of those things are officially true after last night.
And you should give yourself a little pat on the back. Anthony Campanile is right now one of the big differences with this organization.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean,
no Trayvon Walker.
No. I mean,
they were in a tough spot.
They were in a tough spot.
I know they didn't have a greatest night, but they're more competitive in tougher spots this year.
And they're definitely more competitive in different spots. They have moments of dominating. And their biggest thing they do, which I didn't think would happen last night, is they create turnovers.
Right.
They create turnovers and they create big plays. Now, I picked the Chiefs to win because I thought they would go into the game going, you know what, we've seen that's how they've won a few games. We're not going to do that. And, of course, I thought Trevor might do some dumb things. Right, which we saw him do a little bit.
Right.
The
throw past the line of scrimmage.
The throw past the line of scrimmage,
like,
of course, the quarterback.
You don't see a lot of that.
No, you definitely don't. The interception, which I won't blame him totally. That was a tough play.
Yeah.
Pass interference could have been called there, and I wouldn't have been mad. But yeah, all in all, Anthony Campanile on that side of the ball, they're creative and they keep you on edge. And they got playmakers, and they're aggressive, and you can tell they believe in the unit and what they're doing there. Yeah, they're not perfect, but damn, they're good. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are here to stay. They're good. I went into the game last week telling a lot of people, the Jaguars, I think, might be more talented than the Kansas City Chiefs. They're just not quite as polished, battle-tested, and know how to handle clutch situations quite the same way. But that was a big step for Jacksonville's growth last night.
Yeah, so listen, Kansas City 11-0 in one-score games last season, 17 straight. They're 0-3 this season.
Yeah.
You just feel like a little bit of that magic is missing somewhere, or is it at some point like the tide's going to turn the other way and it feels like it's happening all at once?
Well, I think that eventually, the tide will turn to where they win more games like this than they lose. But I think two things here. One, I think everybody is prepared to go, when we play the Chiefs, we know it's going to come to the end of the game. They almost play that way. They're almost like the Seattle Seahawks, like in their Legion of Boom days. Let's just keep the game close, and then Russell will be clutch in the last drive, and we'll win the game.
That's what the Bucs do right now.
The Bucs kind of do the same thing, too. The Chiefs, exactly right. The Chiefs play that way. So I think teams are mentally prepared going into the game going, hey, this is going to go down to the end, and we're going to have to be clutch to slay the beast, the champs here, right? Or at least the AFC champs. You know what I'm trying to say there. I think the other thing that is real about this conversation is that the Chiefs' defense is not the same. The Chiefs' defense is good. We know it's good. It's still really good. But is it, again, like you've heard me say, and I've said a few times on other places, it's not as dominant as it was, I think, last year, which I think last year was less than the year before and the year before that, right? The 2 years,
steady.
It's kind of been a steady decline. Exactly right. And again, we've hit that on that a little bit, but there we were in the end of the game or in gotta-have-it moments. I think that's what kind of shows that there's not a lot of big-time playmakers on the D right now. A lot of good, coached as good as anybody in the sport because of Spags and everything he does on that side of the ball. But do I look at it like some of the top defenses in the game and go there, have the guys that can shut a team down in a big moment or make a big play in a big moment? No, I don't quite look at them that way right now as we're sitting here.
So it's more personnel-driven than schematic issues.
I think it's personnel-driven is the first thing. And then I also think we hit on this, I think, a little in week 1 and week 2. Everybody has studied the Chiefs so much, and Spags is so good that so many teams have stolen the things he does that I don't think when people play the Chiefs, they're in the shock of what the Chiefs are doing as much anymore, right? And that's the big thing. And then the other thing that goes unnoticed a little bit is what you see there on the left column, the 13 penalties for 109 yards, right? People are going to look at it and go, hey, the Chiefs played good. The Chiefs outgained the Jacksonville Jaguars. And yes, that's true. But then when you add in the penalty yards and the aggressive nature in which they play, no, it's actually really close as far as total yards and how everything worked that way.
And I'm with you on the personnel side of things. It's not to single anyone out, but it surprises me to see, Derek Nottie out there for over 20 snaps.
Right.
He was with the Jets in camp this summer. I was out there. I just didn't really think he had a lot left in the tank. So when I turn on primetime game and I see someone like that starting, and it's not just him. There's problems across the board personnel-wise, but it does feel like they're a little bit more vulnerable against the run than what we're used to.
I think
because that was something that it feels like they just didn't allow.
No. And I mean, and they didn't allow. They're definitely not as talented in that area. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like you've said, I mean, the start of training camp. Mike Pennell was a defensive tackle starter. That kind of tells you where they are. So he was a starter that didn't make the team, and they've had to try to figure it out. And, they don't have, as big a people in the middle of the defense as they used to. And as I would say, too, I think they have to crowd the line of scrimmage a lot right now to stop the run and do that, which leads them in one-on-one situations where we know they have good corners. McDuffie is special, right? But after that, I don't know if I think anybody else is special covering, and that's what they've lost the last 2 years, in my opinion, too. They won 2 Super Bowls in a row, let's not forget, with one of the best corner duos in the sport in L'Jarius Sneed and McDuffie, and that was part of the reason I think the defense fell off a little last year, and of course we're seeing it now. But I mean, when you really get into it, Chris Jones is still really good. He can still disrupt plays, but he's not the superstar he was a few years ago. It's not like you have to game plan the whole game anymore to stop him, which is what it was the year they played the 49ers in the Super Bowl, the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Those years, if you talk to an offensive coordinator getting ready for the Chiefs, they're like, oh, my God, Chris Jones, holy cow. I got to make sure we slide the protection this way. There's only certain run plays we can run at them. We're going to try to run away with them. I don't hear that anymore. And then after that, who is the next best player? It's McDuffie. It's McDuffie and him. And then a lot of good, but I wouldn't say any other blue-chip superstar type of guys on their defense.
Right, like Bolton and Karlaftis are starters.
Real good.
Yes.
Real good, but again, not guys that I'm going to look at to go, are superstar, game-changing type of players on that side of the ball. No.
We got to hear from Chris Jones after this game on the Kansas City defense and that Jaguars game-winning touchdown. So let's take a listen.
I thought multiple times we had him. We just got to finish. We got to finish. We had multiple guys there that we just got to finish that play. It was a fluke play for him to be able to break that many tackles. But I think I put it on us as a defense. We got to finish. We got to bring him down on that.
I don't love fluke play. I understand it's a weird play.
Yeah.
He falls.
Right.
He stumbles again.
Right.
He goes the opposite way you'd expect him to, which was actually smart and scores. But, contain is contain. And they lost contain, but there's people on the ground.
Yeah, well, that was the thing that saved them.
It's
the fact that the left tackle knocked down whoever that was, the defensive end there.
I think it was the left guard that actually helped the left. It was a great effort play.
Right.
Whoever it was, they lost contain. You don't want to be on the ground.
No.
It's a weird play. I don't know if it's a fluky play.
Yeah.
A fluky play is a ball gets tipped up and someone makes a miracle catch. Bills Ravens week 1.
Sure.
It's a fluky play.
Right.
This is just I mean, Trevor Lawrence, they lost contain a lot last night against Trevor Lawrence.
Definitely. He broke a lot of tackles. He made them look silly
defensive
that way a lot.
issue.
Again, yeah. Well, I think that's, again, where we can get into how elite are they up there.
Right.
Again, Karlaftis, Dana, they're good players, again, but they're not guys where you go, can they contain superstar quarterbacks to keep them in the pocket? Can they take over and dominate a tackle in a big moment? In passing situations, I think that's all up for debate to a degree there. And yeah, I mean, sure, it's fluky in the fact that he falls down and does all that.
That part's weird.
But at the same time, I think the point you're trying to make is like, a lot of good defenses in that moment, it's like it would have been collapsed and it would have been all over them and there'd been nowhere to run. But that, the fact that the left defense end, or the defense's right defense end, left defense end to the offense there, he gets knocked down. Yeah, and Trevor Lawrence has the presence of mind to finally get up after basically falling twice, and then seeing that, oh, wait, there's a gap here, even though this is my left side and it's going to be a little unnatural to get into the end zone. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a little bit of a microcosm of things with the Chiefs defense to show you it's not quite as dominant, just like we saw that whole drive. And the one thing I was shocked by in the drive at the end of the football game is McDuffie, for the most part of the night, shadowed Brian Thomas Jr. in big moments.
It's a weird matchup.
It is a weird matchup, but he's their best guy.
Yes.
So they're stuck a little that way.
Right.
But what happened on the big throw down the right sideline on the last drive?
Right.
It wasn't McDuffie. I was shocked by that. I was like, what? Wait, fourth quarter big moment? Now he's not on him? I was shocked. But either way, I think I was more impressed still with the fact that Jacksonville, their grittiness, their toughness, and this is where I think it's Liam Cohn and his attitude and his pizzazz and keep your name out of my mouth, Robert Saleh, and that is rubbing off the football team where they're a little more chippy that way.
It felt that way. I saw a video of the locker room after the game, and you can kind of feel a different energy in there.
Definitely.
It was not like, it was just we're supposed to win these kind of games.
Right.
And they were fired up, and like you said, it was just a scrappy game at home for them. Producer Pete is just working in some really good numbers here. Per Next Gen Stats, Chris Jones reached a max speed of 5.11 miles per hour on that touchdown. That was the second lowest of any player on the field, ahead of only Ezra Cleveland, the Jags left guard, who did pancake the right defensive end.
Yeah, well, and then this is what Chris Jones is going to hear about a little bit as social media catches this over the next 24 hours, that he didn't even try to go get Trevor Lawrence or pursue him or anything when he sees him take off. And you certainly can make I don't think he gets him either way.
Yeah.
But, like, if he hustles from the very get-go to where Trevor Lawrence breaks that first tackle, is it maybe close at the goal line?
Right.
Yeah, it might be. It could be. Could Trevor Lawrence maybe make the wrong decision in cutting somewhere if he sees, oh, no, it's going to be close with Chris Jones? Let me hit the brakes and try to cut, behind him. So, yeah, not a good look there. And again, that's, a little bit of like Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, who were legends, first ballot Hall of Famers, right? But a few times this whole year, we've seen them, they want to lead, they want to yell at guys, but they haven't hustled 100% all the time there either.
One more note on Jacksonville before we close out with the Chiefs offense.
Right.
I thought this was the best Travis Hunter has looked.
Oh, without question.
Kind of as advertised of make some big plays and, season high 64 receiving yards, but I think it was how he got there. I thought he looked good with the ball in his hands.
Definitely.
He showed a contested catch.
Right.
It just felt like there was an effort to get him involved with what we know he's good at.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's good at playing wide receiver, at least with the ball in his hands.
Agreed. I
And
mean,
they're
again,
trying
that's
to
what
build
we
him up.
want. That's
Right.
what we want.
Yeah.
Again, this is where I think they have to favor the receiver thing. Nobody's going to know if he just plays good corner. I mean, nobody's going to know. Your value and his biggest value to the team is get him on that side, feed him the ball, have another weapon to go along with Brian Thomas Jr. and De'Ami Brown and ATN and all of that. And if they can get to that point, if they can really start to infuse him in the offense and make him a staple. Because they got a good group of guys, and we know the damn tight end is good too.
Yeah,
and I hope he's not hurt too badly with his little hip injury that he missed the game with there. But they can get to a point with their run game too, and as Trevor Lawrence gets better and better to where you look at it and you go, they have the potential to be like indefensible a little bit. They really do, because Liam Cohn is going to be able to run the ball. He's going to. And as Trevor continues to get more comfortable with a coach who's going to ride him and yet expect a lot out of him and give him a lot at the line of scrimmage, yeah, you look at those combinations and you go, there is more potential to be had here. And that's what I would be excited about if I'm Jacksonville. But yeah, Hunter, that catch, that was special. He shows special movement, special route runner. He's tough.
Yeah.
He could care less about contact. That's what I do love about him, right?
But what did you notice after the catches? I thought his energy in the game was
definitely
way higher.
Way higher. And, like, even on that amazing catch, the ball should have been there earlier. He was open. I mean, it was like Trevor patted the ball, like, didn't trust it all that way. But, yeah, and it lifts the stadium.
Yes.
You know, again, when you have a young top 5, top 10 pick, first-round pick, Jackson Dart to the Giants, Travis Hunter, whatever, when they have success, the crowd goes, oh, my gosh, he's awesome, and he's our future, and everybody gets behind that. So that's, to me, again, where I just go offense, 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 dabble in defense for the time being, and let that grow slowly, but offense should be the main focus.
Despite the loss, it feels like the Chiefs' offense is fixed. It's in a much better place.
Definitely.
More rhythm.
I think, again, we saw what we're seeing a little bit is, you know, running game's still iffy, but like, the pass game, to me, again, what jumps out is, you know, they just put it in Mahomes' hands, and they said carve him up. Carve him up, throw it short, become elite at that, and then, boom, we got a chance to hit some balls down the field. I think that's why you saw Jacksonville blitz a few times, and they got the cover zero post to Tyquan Thornton and all that, because they were like, wait, he's picking us apart. We got to do something. Can we get the ball out of his hands? And then he just throws it 2 or 3 yards instead of 6 yards here, 8 yards here, all of that. So, yeah, I feel really good about their offense, and they're big dogs coming back.
Right, that's going to be
and they can't wait. And and listen, you know I know people there, and they just think that, like, when he's back, watch out. Our offense is going to go to another level. So they're excited about that. So you couple that with a defense we know that's really good but not as dominant. They need the offense this year. That's what I think we're seeing. The last few years, they've been a defensive team that can win through the defense. To your point and what you said before, the one-score games, the defense isn't the same. It's not the same, and it's not as dominant as the last few years. The offense is going to have to take over a little bit more this year than the past 3 years that we saw them go to the Super Bowl.
Still feels like they're a team that maybe adds a veteran running back at the deadline.
I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, they're going to be aggressive. If they're in the mix of things, and with the state of the AFC right now, with going, you know, okay, yeah, the Bills are the best team, but how good are they? I don't know. I don't sit here going, oh, wow, they're just unbelievable, unstoppable. We're going to talk about this in a little. Yeah,
we're going to break all that down,
right?
Which is going to,
you know, the Colts. I mean, we know they're good, but
right.
Are they going to have the Chiefs like shivering in their shoes, like, oh no, we can't beat the Colts?
Right.
No,
they got to get through Jacksonville.
Exactly. So there's a lot. It's still there to be had.
Yeah.
That's the big point. And yeah, I would not be shocked if they made an aggressive move. But yeah, I think their offense is going to have to be more of a focal point with them this year than ever before, and I think they're showing us that they're capable of doing that.
One quick one from the chat. Yeah. This is from D Sauter 324. Right. Chris Connor, what is it that the Jags call hike with such little time so consistently? Not as much time in offense or too much jargon in the play calls?
Well, I think it's jargon in the play calls, and this is, to me, again, a part of the tutelage of Trevor Lawrence right now. He's never had an offense like this, where it's like, wait, it's 2 plays in the huddle every time, and it's a long play call, and I got to spit it out fast, and sometimes it might be I make 2 play calls in the huddle and give them an alert for a third one I might have to get up to. Then you got to be, like, when you have that type of offense, you have to say, you've heard me say some of the Gruden stuff.
Yeah.
West right slot, 72Z, bingo, you split. We're going to can it with 58 Lexus. Hey, Apple 314 hammer, ready, break. Hey, hurry. You got to literally be like, hurry, get to the line.
Yeah.
Because if you want to, like, figure out what the defense is going to do to get into that, the urgency has to be constant. Now, even with what they do, and if Trevor Lawrence is perfect, yeah, they're going to snap the ball at 6 or 7 seconds every time. But I don't think he's perfect in that department yet, and that's why it goes down to the very end as far as him figuring it out. Wait, we had a motion, a shift with these checks and all that, but I broke the huddle at 16? Yeah, you're going to snap the ball at 1 second when it's that way, and I think he's still, growing in that department.
I think if there's a glass half full, though, that's something that'll improve throughout the season.
That's where I look at all of it, and it's all going improved.
Yeah.
It's all going improved. You come away from the game, and we come from the game and go, the Jacksonville wasn't even perfect.
And we won like that.
And they beat the Chiefs.
Right.
They weren't perfect on the road against San Francisco, and they beat San Francisco in San Fran. So, yes, I think they can beat you schematically. I think that's what I look at the Jacksonville. And they can beat you personally with people.
Yep.
Right? Just like we saw Devin Lloyd. That interception.
It changed the whole game.
It changed the whole game. And that's back to our man, Anthony Campanile, creative. Hey, just give him 1 or 2 steps like you're going to blitz. Mahomes is so smart. He'll see that, check it off in his mind, and go, nobody's over there. And then, boom, he comes back out to get underneath the route. And to me, that was like they knew or had to feel what was coming there, right? Yeah. That's that kind of defense. Like, hey, they coached him for that moment and that type of play right there. And, of course, maybe the biggest play of the football game with a 99-yard.
I mean, the kind of athlete he is at that position, not only to finish the play, but just catching it. Not every linebacker catches that ball.
Tyquan Thornton was going 100 miles per hour down the sideline.
I know. I was like, he's going to get him.
He's going to strip him. Yeah. And then he just runs through the tackle like he's not even there.
It looked like a flag.
But we both know. I mean, we've been watching Devin Lloyd since he came out of college. He's a
special player.
He's a freak. Yo, homies, it's time to watch some games. That's right. We're on to the NFL season here with Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, Sunday night recaps after every game, and much, much more.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, homies. Remember, subscribe. Peace out.